everyone to Fearless Fundraising with Dr. Jonathan Rowe, founder of venture19.org. This is the podcast that turns your flex time into growth time, whether you're commuting, working out, or just out walking the dog. Each episode is packed with practical tools, biblical encouragement, and real-world strategies to help Christian non-profit leaders grow stronger, lead boldly, and fund their God-given mission. Because let's face it, if you want to change the world, you have to know how to pay for it. Here's Jonathan.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Fearless Fundraising. I am Jonathan Rowe of Venture19, and today is going to be so fun. We've got a great friend of mine who is joining us today. She is Ashley Richards. She is the founder and leader of an incredible marketing organization called E Squared Marketing. You can learn more about them at esquaredmarketing.com. You should follow them on all of their socials. They are a great follow. Ashley, every time I see what you guys are posting on your socials, it encourages me, but also makes me laugh. So I love that combination. You guys posted the other day a little fashion show, everything that you guys wore to the office that day. So I love all that stuff. So follow them on the socials, and you'll be inspired, and you'll learn so much more about their great work. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today. And is there anything else that you want to add about yourself that I haven't just shared?
No, my goodness. Well, first, Jonathan, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. And what a great intro. Thank you so much for all your kind words. I think you nailed it. It was perfect.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about the name of E Squared Marketing. I know there's a family connection with that name. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so E Squared is actually named after my kids. So my oldest is Ellie, she's 11, and then my son is Eli, and he's about to turn 10. They're 17 months apart, and I've always been in marketing for a long time and worked in a corporate world with my kiddos, and I found myself in this crossroad. Just had my brand new baby boy. I've got 2 babies in diapers, and my boss is saying, hey, when are you going to come back from maternity leave? And my husband's saying, wait, are you going to leave the kids? What are we doing? Yeah. And I am a very type A individual, as you know, Jonathan. And so I felt like I was in this crossroads, and God really led me down this incredible path of trying to navigate both. And so I became a working mom, but an entrepreneur, and started my agency, and I needed a name. And man, what's more fitting than E Squared, the reason why I'm here.
Love that. And what year did you guys launch?
So we launched 10 years ago, actually.
Okay. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, right when my son was born, and I was the only employee for several years. So it was a really fun journey. I always said I had 3 kids, 2 in diapers and one just out of diapers, I guess.
I love that. Okay, so in 10 years, though, wow. I mean, God has really done just incredible things through all of your work, and you guys are growing and building your team. Tell us a little bit about your very unique all woman team, and how many of you are there now?
Yeah, so we have a team of 27 women. A majority are here in Phoenix, but we do have some talent that's outside of the state. And then 80% of our team is actually working moms, which I'm very proud of.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's been really fun to build a community and a culture around what a working mom looks like. So we have a lot of fun, but we work really hard.
Yeah, love that. Well, so thankful that we've connected, and love doing work together, and look forward to doing even more work together. So thanks so much for joining us today and just sharing a little bit of your expertise. So let's talk marketing. And let me start by asking you, what is marketing? I think it's such a broad term, right? And I think especially in today's day and age, with so many different things being thrown at us, when you think about marketing in the nonprofit space, what do you think about, and how would you really define that?
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. Marketing is a massive playground, is what we call it. There's a lot that it covers. And I think there's also some fine lines between marketing and sales, or marketing and fundraising. And they really are partners in this world, but they're not the same. And so my vision and thought of what marketing is in the nonprofit space is having your name be top of mind consistently with your followers. That's really my thought. When, how are you going to continuously be top of mind when people are like, hey, Who do I give my tax credit to? Hey, I'm looking to give my time. Where do I give it to? Marketing is continuously making sure that your name and your mission is back of minds of everybody and ready to fire it out. Oh my goodness, Jonathan, if you're going to volunteer, you need to volunteer here. How
Mhm.
do you make sure that your organization is in their heads? And that's what marketing is. It's just a continuous tap on their shoulder of, hey, you're here. Hey, we're supporting our community, and being a voice in these heads so that people remember you.
Yeah, I love that. That's a simple definition,
Yeah.
right? Making yourselves be on the top of the minds of people out there when they're thinking about serving, giving, volunteering, right? Just anything, or going to be a part of the programs or services or different things like that, depending on your nonprofit work.
And I know
I,
that sounds easy to do. Uh,
yeah,
you and I
it's
both
not,
know
right?
it's there's such a loud space. We live in such a loud world. There's challenges there on making sure that you stand out in the crowd for sure.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. So you know the nonprofit space really well. And right, in a lot of ways, nonprofit marketing can take on a little bit of a different personality, right? Because a lot of nonprofits aren't necessarily pushing a specific product or trying to sell something or different things like that. So when you think about marketing in the nonprofit space, what comes to mind? What have you seen out there? How do you work with organizations? What should nonprofits be doing from a marketing standpoint? And I know that's a very open-ended general question, but let's start there.
Yeah, I think really two words come to mind when it comes to nonprofits is one, authenticity, and two, vulnerability.
Hmm.
Both can be really hard. I think as a nonprofit organization, you want to always make sure you look buttoned up and organized, and a lot of there's this persona that you need to look bigger than you really are. And
Hmm.
I like to challenge nonprofit clients to kind of pull back those layers and really focus on truly yourself, especially in the world of AI, content starting to look the same, feel the same.
Hmm.
Um, I would try to challenge you to stand out, be authentic to your roots, and really be honest when sharing content specifically on what's going on in your organization, the good, the
Hmm.
bad, the hard.
Hmm.
That is what people resonate with. That is what is going to pull people into your organization and build what I call super fans. Is I want to
Hmm.
know what's going on. How can I support you? How can I love you? How can I pray for you? And so the quicker you can pull back those curtains and really be raw and real, the more you're going to see that connection, that engagement, and that growth on your channel specifically, because you're being that connector. And
Hmm.
I know with me, I follow a lot of amazing organizations and people, and I feel like I know them. I feel like I know their days. I know what they're going through just because of
Hmm.
that connection that you're able to make. But you have to be authentic in order to build that bridge.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Okay, super fans, you said, right?
Super.
So what's a super fan? Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit more about that. And right, how do we develop super fans or ambassadors for who we are or different things like that? What are some things that you're seeing out there? How do you direct organizations to go and
Yeah.
accomplish that?
When I think of super fans, Jonathan, I think of a big table of all your friends. And man, who's going to love you more than your friends
Hmm.
across the room, right? Man,
Hmm.
I'm rooting for you, Jonathan. I want Venture 19 to do incredible things. I know what you do in the community. I'm a super fan of your organization. I am. I
Hmm.
talk about you. I try to build connections between you and other partners. I comment and engage on your social channels. I
Hmm.
feel very embedded in your organization. That is a super fan. That's what you
Hmm.
want to build. And I think you're kind of a really good testimony of what a super fan does. Is you're a connector, right? You always reach out to us. You keep us top of mind. You build relationships. You
Hmm.
can do that digitally in a way as well. And so I know anytime I comment on some of your content, you guys respond back to me. Thanks so much,
Hmm.
Ashley. Like, so glad you loved it. That is a connection piece. Those are the pillars in order to build those super fans. People want to be seen and heard, but they want responses back.
Hmm.
Keeping that social in social media. And so that's how you're going to build super fans is speak to them as you would a friend at a table in a room.
Hmm.
That's the type of content that you want to make sure you're pushing out.
Yeah. I love that. I think that we need to create that sense of family, like you're talking about, and friendship with people, right? As opposed to we're a business, we're a nonprofit organization, your clients or different things like that, right? The relationship needs to be a lot more personal
I
with
do.
that. And I think as it gets more personal, it becomes more meaningful. And then just a strong natural bond happens, right? I think I've seen that in the Venture 19 community quite a bit is, we launched to really focus on training, coaching, and granting through our programming. And I think that we felt like a cool community was going to be built, but
Mhm.
I'm not sure we understood how cool it was going to be and how connected, And so, of course, talking about a lot of the nonprofits that we serve, it's just become a close-knit family of Christian nonprofit leaders that are now encouraging each other, right, supporting each other, collaborating together, and different things like that. And from a marketing standpoint, one of the things that we've seen is that people who have been on the outside of that see all that and they say, I want to be a part of something like that. And so I
Yeah.
think as we develop those friendships and super fans and ambassadors, right, they reach into their networks and then people are drawn into that community.
I think social media specifically gets a bad rap, right? There's a lot of bad there. I understand that. There's a lot of challenging content, but there is so much beauty if you allow it to happen and build those enriching connections. We live in a connected world, but we're not
Hmm.
very connected, Jonathan. We're just
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
And so if you allow that culture of your organization to bleed through your social channels, I feel it when I go to your social, and you mentioned it with our social, with our agency, we're
Hmm.
warm, we're welcoming, and that's truly
Hmm.
how we are in person. Um,
Hmm.
so if you can really challenge yourself to put that filter on your content that you're sharing, man, you're really going to see the benefits of it, because that is what people crave. People go on social media to escape their day to day, to connect
Hmm.
with people. What are you serving in order for them to fulfill that need? And that is something that I think a lot of organizations don't think about when posting. They're like, oh, we have an update, which you can certainly share updates, but
Sure.
it should be more of a prayer of, what is my community and people that don't know about us need to hear about us today? What do
Hmm.
they need to hear today? Like, what is
Hmm.
God tapping on my shoulder to share today? Um,
Yeah.
there's some cool opportunities to enrich that connection piece just by leaning into God a little more on what
Hmm.
He wants you to share.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Okay. You've mentioned social media a few times, so let's dig into that for a few minutes, right? Social media is one of the main ways that we can do quote unquote marketing these days. Let's talk a little bit about just the sort of the nuances and like you said, even some of the challenges connected with social media. So let me give you a scenario. So let's say we've got a small nonprofit that hasn't really engaged the social media space. But of course, they're feeling like it's important these days and different things like that. What should they be thinking about as far as getting going with social media marketing? And what are a few good steps to sort of push them in the right direction? And the reason I ask this question, and I think you know this, right? I mean, when you just think about social media specifically, it can just feel super overwhelming. Like,
Yeah.
what do I do? Where do I start? We're small. We don't have a big budget. We don't even have a social media person, right? Which a lot of the organizations, out there don't,
Yeah.
And so if they're thinking about this, what's a good starting place? What should they be thinking about with social media? And how should they begin that journey?
Yeah, social media is a beast. It can be extremely overwhelming, and there's so many platforms. And so, what I always encourage my small nonprofit friends is to start small. Figure out which platforms is where the audience is that resonates with your organization, whether that's where most of your funding is coming from, if that's where your volunteer base is coming from, or who you're serving. Primarily, I would say Facebook and Instagram are the best places for a nonprofit to start. They're
Mhm.
very nonprofit friendly, which is great. And so creating those platforms is free, right? Like build your profiles. And then there's a couple ways as far as content share. One, lean on your volunteers. If you have a great, vibrant volunteer base, that simple task of
Mhm.
asking could go a long way. I served at VBX at my church this summer, and I created a bunch of content and shared it with them and said, hey, here, please share this. Like, that's a talent that I've been given from God. Why don't I share
Mhm.
it with my church? So
Mhm.
that's one place. If you're like, I have no volunteers, right? Another great resource are local colleges.
Mhm.
GCU has an incredible social media platform,
Mhm.
and we have been able to get some interns from there. We've been able to encourage some of our clients to get interns from there. Highly recommend that as well. They are hungry for resources and tools. They're a Christian-based school, so they just need real life scenarios and real life opportunities to do work in the field. And so that's another great place in order to start. Of course, if you're going to outsource it to partners or volunteers or a school, just make sure you're filtering through the content before it gets posted.
Hmm.
There's a learning curve there, right? You're going to know your nonprofit better than anyone else, and you want to make sure that the photos and the content that's being shared really aligns with your organization. So just make sure you're adding that filter a little bit before you're letting them just free range posting. But building that foundation on social media is going to be key. Getting some content out there. You're not going to get a lot of engagement in the beginning, but let's build that foundation. And then the goal is to tap your community tools and resources, your super fans in real life, to start following and engaging with your content. And
Hmm.
those are really the first few steps. Is just getting that foundational content out there, but utilizing some cool local tools that aren't going to really cost you anything. And
Hmm.
they're usually pretty excited to be part of it.
Yeah, I love what you said there, right? About even understanding where your audience is spending their time, right? To help you understand what social platforms to use and maybe what's not the right fit. I think sometimes, Ashley, and you've probably seen this, a nonprofit leader or an organization will say, everybody's doing social media, so we need to do social media, but they don't really have a plan or a strategy or a thought behind it. And so it's just, we're just gonna start on this platform and do this and just start blasting messages and all that kind of thing. And they don't really think through the strategy side of it. And so to me, I think just like anything else, right? They should be asking the question, why are we doing social media? And or why would we do social media? And what do we want to accomplish through social media? And sort of start with some of those more pressing questions and then think about, okay, how do we want to be a little bit more intentional with this? Right?
That's
As opposed to just like, blast a bunch of stuff out there and it's all about us and how great we are and what we do and all that kind of stuff. Right?
Yep.
Am I thinking about that correctly?
Perfectly. We call that the spray and pray method.
Yep.
A lot of organizations do it just because they don't know any better. But you're exactly right. We live in a very selfish world. And when people go on social media, it's what's in it for me, right? I'm trying to escape. I had a stressful day. I'm just trying to wind down. And what am I going
Hmm.
to do? I'm going to open Instagram and I
Hmm.
want to be educated. I want to be entertained. I never go on there and say, I wonder what nonprofit I can donate to right now. Or
Hmm. Right,
I wonder
right,
what I'm
right,
going to
right.
buy from my Instagram ads. Do I
Yeah, yeah,
feel
yeah, yeah.
called to it? That's not the intention, though. We don't open it for that. Where I get stuck, so we talk about the scroll stop, right? When you're stopping the scroll, I
Hmm.
stop on authenticity. If it's
Hmm.
today was a hard day, well, I want to know why it was a hard day now. You
Hmm.
got my attention.
Hmm. Yep.
You're not telling me. I want to know why it was a hard day.
Yep.
And so that connection piece, or it's been hard here. It doesn't always have to be bad. It's, hey, we had a big announcement, a big win here at our nonprofit.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, you got my attention.
Yeah,
The
right.
big win. I want to know what the
Hmm.
big win is. I want to celebrate you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Those types of content, it's more about what's in it for us as a nonprofit. It's what's in it for you as my consumer. You're going to consume
Hmm.
this content. How is this going to fill your cup? How am I going
Hmm.
to help you today? I've even seen Christian nonprofits do a post of, how can I pray for you today?
Yep.
Every
Yep.
Christian nonprofit could do that post today. And you
Yep.
have so many comments. What a gift.
Yeah.
What a gift. You don't know what to post today? Let God do the work here and figure out what they need. And using those prayers as tools, if you're seeing a consistent prayer request for certain things, gosh, maybe start building some education and pillars around those prayer requests that you can start
Hmm.
feeding those consumers again, right? Those super fans. So there's a lot of cool ways you can build strategy that's not going to cost you a lot of money or a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I love what you just said there. It shouldn't be so much a focus on us, but a focus on the people that we're communicating with,
Yeah.
right? And I think yeah, to your point, there are some things online and on socials that just stop me in my tracks. And I say, I have to know more about this, and there's other stuff, that doesn't.
Yeah.
And if it's something right that connects with me, or you're talking about an impact story and something that God's doing special, I want to hear more about that. I want to learn about that. And so I think a big part of, I think, being, for lack of a better word, successful, right, in the social media space is again, to what you said, understanding where your audience is, right? If your audience is on Facebook and you're posting 3 times a week on TikTok or Instagram, that doesn't make a lot of sense. They're probably on Instagram as well, but right, understand where they are and develop a little bit of a strategy. You know your people, hopefully. So now you can begin to think through content. What's going to bless them, inspire them, intrigue them? What are they going to want to learn more about? And so then that just begins to give you a little bit of direction. And that's much different, Ashley, right? Than just saying, we're going to launch a Facebook page and 4 times a week, we're going to say something about our organization and we're going to
Yep.
ask you to donate to us, which of
Correct.
course we've all seen, right?
Yep, absolutely. Or they're saying, hey, I'm just going to use AI to build a photo or build a flyer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not authentic either. There's tools and
Mm-hmm.
resources. I'm a huge fan of AI, but it's being taking over these platforms. And now Meta is not favoring AI created content. It is
Mm-hmm.
favoring
Interesting.
authentic content. And so there is pushback even from the Meta universe of wanting to build that authenticity that's happening. And so there's more, we're doubling down on that word and
Yeah.
executing on that because
Yep.
we're seeing the opposite of it, where people just are not connecting with AI content. They just are not. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, so I had that on my list as well for today. So let's talk AI for a couple minutes. So yeah, AI is great if it's used the right way. And it can certainly be used the wrong way. But I guess from a marketing standpoint, how is AI intersecting with marketing these days? How is it changing marketing these days? So first, a little update on that from somebody who lives in that space. And then also, yeah, what are some of the best ways that we can use AI?
Yeah. Yeah. So, a couple things. AI is incredible. There is some amazing tools and resources that we use as our agency. I will tell you right now, though, Jonathan, I don't lose sleep that it's going to take over my job anytime soon.
Right?
Still needs a driver, right? It's like
Yep.
there's this big AI ship, and you're like, well, who's driving this thing? Uh,
Right.
you got to steer it. And so, but you have to have some pretty big filters. I see so many organizations just ask AI to build content, and then they post it on social and
Mhm.
they'll still add they won't even read it, and it'll say, let me know if the above text sounds good or you want it to be adjusted, and that's like in the with the post, right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm in this Facebook group called AI Gone Wrong, and there's like photos of like a couple and they're holding hands, but there's an extra arm like on her, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
this isn't real. Like this is weird. Um,
Right.
so you have to have a filter for this content. And
Hmm.
there's been some pushback that the content is sounding very similar.
Hmm.
So if you're going to use AI, you need to take some time to invest in feeding the AI system that you're using, ChatGPT, any of them, about what your language is, how you speak. I have told AI words I do not want them to say.
Hmm.
One of the words is embark. I don't want. We're not
We've
embarking.
we've talked about this
We
before.
have. And you know what's funny?
AI loves the word embark for some
It does.
reason.
And we're not embarking on anything. And I went to a seminar last week, and I tell you what, embark was in it like 3 times. And I'm like, you lost me. You lost me. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
pick on embark, but right. It does. It has those. And I see a lot of companies and nonprofits using it for building flyers. And so now my feed is inundated with marketing flyers that all look the exact same. I know AI created it. So if
Yup.
you're going to use it, you got to make sure you're not blending in with the noise that's happening right now. And again, like I mentioned before, Meta is not favoring that content. It knows it's AI
Hmm.
generated. It does not want that. It wants
Hmm.
that authenticity in there. So tools and resources, yes, with an extensive big filter on it, making sure that it's correct before you post it.
It's so funny that you say that because I find I'm have looked at a few things recently online and I never used to think about this, but now you can look at something and like just the other day I was looking at some stuff and I just go, that's AI generated, of course. I mean, right, there's just a similar feel to it and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Um, okay, platforms and tools that you guys are using for AI. What are some of the things that you guys use to benefit what you do that maybe some other groups should know about?
Yeah, absolutely. So we use just a couple. We use Sprout Social for our social media management platform. There are some incredible AI tools integrated into that that's making just the tasks a little bit easier. We also use Monday.com for our internal comms, and there's some AI features in there. One thing it does is it will listen to all your calls, and then it'll make a task list. So if we're having a business meeting right now and you're going to make a connection or a contact, it'll put down there, Jonathan is going to introduce Susie
Love
to
that.
Ashley. And then
Uh-huh.
it'll ping you and say, here's your to-do list, Jonathan, from the call. So that's really cool. From a social media standpoint, Manus is a big one that we've been tapping into, and it's more they do web design. It's not great there quite yet, but landing pages. So there's some interesting tools that are happening there. And I'm a huge fan of ChatGPT.
Mhm.
We have the paid closed version.
Yep.
It's pretty advanced. We'll have some fun with some of the design work, but we still have designers do all of our work. There again, I just don't think AI is there yet. They're just not.
Yeah.
It's not creative enough, and so we don't lean on it for that. But ChatGPT for sure. If you're as a nonprofit, you're like, how many ways can I say this? That's a great resource. Send it to
Mhm.
ChatGPT. It's going to tell you a dozen ways to tell stories, change things, enhance things. So those are some of the AI that we're using on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I love that. When I think of AI, I think more of assisted intelligence for me, right? So like you said, it can't do all the work for you and you shouldn't rely on it for that. But right, it can help you think about things differently, it can give you some different ideas. But like
Yeah.
you said, it's all got to go through the filter and you've got to make sure that it is the right content for where you are as an organization. And again, back to your word, everything's got to be authentic. And if something's not authentic, I think people are seeing through that very easily these days. And of course, that's a big negative.
Another
Um,
quick note on
yeah,
AI
please.
that I think is really interesting is people are now going to a chat GPT over Google to find answers.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
for example, my son and I were watching a baseball game last night and he wanted to know how old the pitcher was. And I'm like, I
Yep.
don't know how old he is. So I didn't go to Google. I went to ChatGPT
That's
and said,
right.
how old is this player for this team? And, gave me all this information about this player. And
Yep.
so it's also important as a nonprofit that you're feeding your information to these AIs about your nonprofit. Because
Yes.
we're now getting leads saying, I'm like, how'd you hear about us? They're like, ChatGPT. I'm like, really?
Really
So
interesting.
that's
Okay.
another piece of it is make sure these AIs know who you are. And so if they're asking what are some great Christian nonprofits in Phoenix, you want to make sure you're on that list. So
Hmm.
a different take on AI that should be supported for sure.
The more you teach it, right, the more effective it is for you. So I'll put in prompts now that begin with, hey, you already know about Venture 19. So based on that, here's what I want to ask you, or here's what we're trying to do, or different things like that. And it's really good with that stuff.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's got to be the way everything's going. I never Google anything anymore. I'm always Chat GPT or Grok on my phone because I also have Twitter or X. And yeah, I mean, it's just you seem to get more information. It's easier, right, to get it. And one of the things that I love on some of the AI platforms is now a lot of them are just automatically providing their sources. And
Yeah.
so, right when everything first came out, you're like, gosh, where's all this coming from? And how do we know it's right? And all that kind of stuff. And you still have to weigh all that. But I know for me, when it cites sources, I can dig into those sources a little bit more, and that just helps me verify things. But yeah, finding out information on a baseball player is a perfect example of how it's just right intersecting our daily lives on a pretty regular basis.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay, how about this question? If a donor visits your website for 30 seconds, what must they absolutely see right away?
Ah, such a good question. I love it. So your website, let's talk about what I call above the fold.
Okay.
So as soon as you type in the domain or you click on the link, that first screen that you see before you have to scroll down is what we
Yep.
call above the fold.
Hmm.
That is the most expensive real estate on your website.
Hmm.
It should be clear who you are and who you serve
Hmm.
and ways to get involved. Big, right? There needs to be a visual appeal, but your directory at the top, your hyperlinks should be so clear. We actually went through this in the event that we had together, and I was going through people's websites and saying, "Hey, I don't know what you do.
Hmm.
Great photo, no idea what your organization is doing." And so
Yep.
what we have found, and we're doing a lot of website development these days, and we are honestly, when we redo a website, we are taking about half the content off.
Yep.
Short form content is the way of the future right now. Short form videos, short form content, because the attention span of people is gone down.
Way down.
We've got a lot of squirrels going on,
Oh,
and
it's
so
embarrassing. It's embarrassing how how mine is.
I'll go to a website and I'm like, oh, there's no way I'm going to read this. Like, I
Right.
just so simple content, very to the point, who you are, who you serve, how people can get involved. And that's a lot to put in that first fold, but it's
Mm-hmm.
really important that you hit that because the attention span is just so low. I also love about websites is there's a lot of data you can pull from Google Analytics about your website. You can see how long people stay on your website
Mm-hmm.
and what tabs on your website are the most trafficked. So you can say, wow, I know for our page, our About Us page is one of our top hit page. People
Mm-hmm.
want to know about us. And so we spend a
Yep.
lot of time reviewing that web page and enhancing it because we know that's where people go.
Mm-hmm.
So those are just some challenges and just a quick review that nonprofits can do of their website is okay, what is above the fold? Am I telling my story?
Yep.
And working through how you can make those adjustments if you're not. And a
So
lot of people are now consuming content on mobile devices.
that's
So
right.
it may not look so bad on your computer, but as soon as you get it on that little tiny
Oh
screen,
yeah.
your
Yeah.
paragraph now looks like a novel. And you're like, well, this is a problem. So
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
taking a bird's eye view from a mobile perspective of how does this look to people, to my super fans?
Yep.
It's a good challenge too. Don't just look at it on your desktop. Look at it where
That's
people
right.
are getting it, and it's usually on their mobile device.
I was going to say, very safe to say a higher percentage are viewing content on mobile,
Yeah, it's
right?
usually
So, and that's
75% is what.
75-25, you're saying?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. 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 Great to keep that in mind. Awesome. Well, I am talking to Ashley Richards of E Squared Marketing, esquaredmarketing.com. Follow them on their socials. Also, Ashley wouldn't say this, but I will say it. When we wanted to really ramp up our social media presence and figure things out, we went to E Squared Marketing. So they served us in an incredible way, helped us get organized, figure out where our audience was living, and just really journeyed with us and got us up and running. And there's no way we are where we are from a social media standpoint without the work of E Squared. And so maybe they need to be your next phone call to figure out your social media presence. They'll journey with you, they'll serve you well, and you guys will have a lot of fun doing it together. So I wanted to make sure to let everybody know that as well.
Yeah.
Ashley, gosh, time has gotten away because you and I, we could just talk all day, right? So let's end by doing a little lightning round of a few things. Is that okay?
I love it. Let's do it.
You have no idea what's coming, right? I didn't tell you about this at all. So first we'll start personal, all
Okay.
right? And so personal to you. I think I know the answer to this one. Is it sweet or salty for you? What's your preference?
I would say sweet.
Okay, got that. Beach or mountains for you?
Mountains.
Really?
Yes.
I thought you were
I
going to
like
go beach because of your last trip you just took.
that's for kids. The kids love the beach. I
Okay.
like mountains. Give me the
Okay.
views and the hikes.
Okay. Awesome. I'm an anti-hiker myself, so I always have a lot of questions for people who love hiking, but that'll have to be another conversation. How about coffee or tea for you?
Both, but tea more.
Okay. Do you have, I don't because I don't engage this, but do you have a go-to karaoke song? Are you a you certainly your staff, you guys have done karaoke, right?
We have never done karaoke.
What?
I do not have a go-to karaoke
Okay.
song.
I would think that like once a quarter I could see the whole E Squared staff doing karaoke
I'm
on
gonna
a
have to add
Friday at the office together. You should
to
try
a lot of fun events. I'm gonna have to tell the team we got to look at karaoke.
it. Okay. Another very self-serving question for me. Venture 19 or any other organization out there doing fundraising training?
Venture 19. You know I'm a super fan, Jonathan. I'm a super fan.
Love that. Okay. Okay. More on the professional side of things, connected with marketing. Canva or Adobe?
Canva,
Okay. Facebook or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Can't go on. Got to take 30 seconds. Explain
Yeah.
that.
You know, LinkedIn is been resurfaced. It's a powerful tool when used well. So there, it's creeping up. I'm real interested to see what the stats look like at the end of the year. Markets when they're uncertain also affects more
Yep.
increase on LinkedIn just from a job market perspective. But I like them both, but I'm team LinkedIn.
Wow. Okay, that's really fascinating. Now, when you were directing us and helping us get going, right? We were Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So you guys
Yep.
did really drive us in that direction, and
Yeah.
that's been great for us. Okay,
Right.
video or photos?
Video,
Okay. Connected with that, or maybe just other content in general, longer content or shorter content?
shorter content.
Shorter for sure.
Yep.
Um, One marketing trend right now that you're excited about.
Authenticity. I'm really
Okay.
excited about it.
That's been the theme for us today. You got to be authentic in everything that you're putting out there.
Yep.
Um,
Market's pushing back a little on AI.
yeah. Okay. How about one trend that you hope disappears? Got anything there?
Oh, I'm not a big fan of these like these daily vlogs.
Okay.
That I think is a trend that I think we could go
And
away.
did
Or
you said vlogs as in video?
yes, like
Okay.
the ones that do it consistently. And
Yep.
this is a selfish response, but I hope the trends of kids opening toys and my kids watching them open toys on videos goes away too.
That's created a challenge for you from a
Yeah.
family standpoint. Okay, how about a nonprofit brand right now that's doing marketing very well? Maybe even a client of yours.
Oh my goodness. There are several that I think are doing. I can't just pick one. There's
Yeah,
so many
that's okay. Yeah.
things really well. Um, I can't pick one, but I will tell you a brand that I think is
Okay.
doing really well right now,
Great.
and that is Levi's. So,
Levi's. Okay.
quick side story: Levi's Stadium is hosting the soccer, and
Yep.
they made them cover up the Levi's because they were not a sponsor.
Yep. Okay.
Levi's doubled down on it. They changed all their profiles. Their profile image is now the Levi's logo with a cover on it, and
Oh,
it
that's
is
funny.
so incredible. It is marketing well played, well.
Yeah.
They did a whole video of them like zooming in on the stadium where it's covered and it says, nobody's going to know. They're going to know. I mean, you can totally tell it's the Levi's logo.
Yeah, that's great.
It is perfect marketing that is so authentic, so funny. Instead of skirting around it, they're hitting it head on. Like they want us to cover the logo, and it has caused so much amazing marketing buzz for them. So that is a brand that's doing it really well
I
right now.
love that. Super creative, right? So
Yeah.
because they weren't an official sponsor of the World Cup, they wanted right them to be covered up, and they
Yep.
just doubled down on that and
Yep.
decided to that's really great. That's
Now
really
they're
great.
into another brand. So Gillette, I guess there's a stadium like the shaving Gillette.
Yep, yep.
Well, they had to cover theirs. And so now their logo is covered with shaving cream on their marketing.
That's
So
so
it's
great.
brilliant. So
Yeah.
that's good marketing to me.
Oh, I love that. What's one thing that every nonprofit that's listening to this podcast right now, what's one thing they could do or should do if they can only do one thing connected with marketing?
Turn the camera around on themselves and tell their story.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Be authentic. I know it's uncomfortable,
Yep.
but tell your story because your heart is going to shine through so much of this content. And that is what's needed in a lot of nonprofits.
Yeah, I love that. Ashley, thank you so much for your time. I feel like we fit a lot in a short period of time here. So again, Ashley Richards, you can learn more about their incredible work at esquaredmarketing.com. I mentioned up front, be sure to follow them on their socials. So much great stuff there, and they're a really fun follow. And so, Ashley, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for your just partnership and for helping us move forward at Venture 19 and for the way that you guys are serving the community, and just yeah, appreciate you guys so much.
Well, thank you so much. It's been really an honor to be here, and I always love our conversation. So thank
I
you.
know we'll have to do a part two.
Love it.
Thanks, Ashley. Appreciate it.
There you have it, another great session of learning and encouragement from Dr. Jonathan Rowe. Be sure to continue to listen to Fearless Fundraising wherever you find your podcasts. To learn more about the work of Venture 19 and everything that's available to your nonprofit, go to venture19.org. You won't believe all the free resources you'll find there. All right, everybody, we'll catch you soon on another episode of Fearless Fundraising.